Hi, welcome to this instructional video for Jyotishya Deepika Pro 2022, Release 2. I am Dr. Kumara, the author of Jyotishya Deepika. This is a general introduction video. This is not a video that is very specific to a birth chart or a Prashna chart or any other type of chart. This video is aimed to provide a general introduction to the various features that are available in Jyotishya Deepika Pro 2022 Release 2. You can launch the software by double-clicking on the icon on the desktop. Typically, there is a user account control window that pops up, which basically asks you, do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? And if you want to continue with the software, you have to click the yes button. And once you click the yes button, the software opens up. Now what you see is the default time chart. It is almost similar to a birth chart, except that it has a few lesser capabilities than a birth chart. It is created for a specific point of time, and that is why it is called a time chart. The time chart is the default chart with which Jyotishya Deepika Pro opens up when you double click the software icon on the desktop. This time chart is always calculated for the current system date and time and for the current place or the currently chosen default place in the calculation options. Now this screen is the first screen or the main screen of the application. On the left side, you have the kundalis, the various representations of the chart. Below that, you have the dasha control, which gives you the details of the mahadashas. And then you have a small legend here at the bottom, which helps you to understand what each of these short forms and symbols that are shown next to the planets and the cusps in the chart, what they mean. So the symbol R means it's a retrograde planet. An asterisk in front of a planet's name conveys that there are no planets in the stars of that particular planet. A plus sign indicates that a particular planet is in its own star. A hash indicates that it is in its own sub. An E within square brackets indicates an empty cusp, and the capital B in square brackets indicates that a particular cusp is the Badhaka house. So this is what we see on the left side. An interesting thing is that in Jyotishya Deepika we provide 3 styles of Kundali. The South Indian style is the default, which you can see on the screen now. However, not everyone is accustomed to the South Indian Kundali. A lot of people require the North Indian style. So all you need to do is just click on the North style and the North style Kundali is displayed. And we also added the Eastern style, which is basically the Bengali style from this version onwards. Now all of these styles represent the same Kundali. In the Southern style, in the Northern style and the Eastern style, there are certain common aspects. One is whenever you hover the mouse, you don't have to click over a particular cusp. It basically, you see a tooltip which gives you the cuspal lord, the star lord, and the sublord of that particular cusp. Now, if you hover your mouse on a planet, say for example Rahu, then the tooltip will show you the sign lord, star lord, sublord, and also whether the particular planet is in its own star or there are other planets in its star, and also the cusps wound. All of this information is available. So let us see, for example, for sun. If you look at it, the sun is in the sign of moon, star lord is Saturn, and sublord is also Saturn. The sun is not in its own star, there are no planets in its star, and the cusps owned by the sun are 12, which is an empty cusp. So this is all the information that you get just by hovering your mouse on the planet's name. Now this is also available in the North style Kundali, and this is also available in the East style Kundali. This is common. this is available in all Kundali styles. There is a small information icon here. If you click that, it will display the details of the chart. Now you can actually see the details here, that it is a time chart for the 20th of July 2022, created at 11:18 a.m. for Bangalore. The time zone is given, the longitude, latitude of calculations is given, and it is also provided whether there is any time correction applied to the chart, and the Ainamsha which is chosen, that is given. The Julian day number is provided, and the sidereal time in hours, minutes, and seconds is provided. So all you need to do is just click on this display information. Now, as you move to the right side, you have various tabs in which the chart information is displayed. The first tab is called Planets and Cusps, wherein you get planet details, cusp details of various planets, along with the positional strength and what are the benefic, neutral, and malefic planets in this particular chart. Now, an important aspect in this table is wherever you click. So if you click on the planet Sun, it immediately opens up a row below the planet's name. And here you can actually see the significations of the particular planet as per the type A, type B, type C, and type D significators of classical KP astrology. In addition, you will also see the additional, that is the type E significations, which are also called secondary significations or minor significations. You will also see the cusps with which the planet is conjoined, and then the cusps which the planet aspects. And if you want to close this, you can just click the close button. This is available for all planets. And similarly, when you click on a cusp, it will show you the significators of that particular cusp. So here, if, for example, the second cusp I have clicked, the type A significators, there are no type A significators. Type B is Ketu, type C is Mars and Rahu, type D is Venus. Additional significators are Moon, Mars, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. And the planets conjoined with the cusp are none. And the planets which are aspecting the cusp are Mars and Saturn. So all of this information is provided to you if you just click on a particular planet or a cusp. Then similarly, you have an expanded display of Rahu and Ketu. No doubt you're in this main table on the planets, you see Rahu and Ketu, but Rahu and Ketu are also explained in a much more detailed manner in the Rahu Ketu section of the chart. So here, if you see Rahu, it is the planets with which it is conjoined, and the planets which it is aspected by, the sign lord, star lord, sub lord, sub lord, and the cusps conjoined by Rahu Ketu. And finally, we are also giving the planets that Rahu represents and the planets that Ketu represents, basically functioning as an agent of that particular planet. So in this time chart, Rahu represents Mars as an agent, and then Ketu represents Mars, Saturn, and Venus. So normally, there are different rules which people apply. If Rahu and Ketu represent the same planet, then should you take the planet agent to be Rahu or Ketu? A majority of the people will say Rahu, because that is the common way in which it is provided in classic Vedic astrology also. Now, below the Rahu Ketu table, you have the positional strength, wherein at a glance you can find which of the planets are exalted in this chart, which planets are highly exalted, that is Paramoksha, the planets that are debilitated, the planets that are highly debilitated, that is Paramanicha, those planets that are in Mula Trikona, that is the most auspicious place, and also those planets which are combust. So this is about the positional strength of planets. And then you have the benefic, neutral, and malefic planets of this particular chart. So for this chart, time chart, Venus is the benefic, neutrals are Saturn, Sun, and Mercury, and malefics are Moon, Mars, and Jupiter. So this is all of this information that you get here. And this is just the first tab, which is planets and cusps. In the second tab, you have the significators, which is basically the type A, B, C, D significators for each planet. Means which of those cusps for which this planet is a type A significator, the cusps for which the planet is a type B, type C, and type D significator. CLSL represents the cuspal sublord. Then the cusps conjoined by the planet are displayed, and the cusps aspected are also displayed. Similarly, for each of the cusps, you have the type A, type B, type C, type D significators, the cuspal sublord, the planets conjoined, and the planets that aspect that particular cusp are given. Now here again, similar to what you saw in the planets and cusps details, if you click on a planet, you will also get its basic details, that is the positional details. So in the planets and cusps, you will get the significator details, whereas in the significators table, you get the planet details. So this is provided, this is the same information that is provided, but it is just that all of that information is collated in one place so that you can avoid going into multiple tabs or multiple pages. So you can actually sit within the planets and cusps tab and then do your analysis, or you can actually open up the significators and still do your analysis, depending on how comfortable you are with each of these concepts. Now similarly, when you click on a cusp, you get to see where that cusp is, the Rashi to which it belongs, the nakshatra, and then which are the occupants of the cusps, how many occupants are there, and then the sign lord, star lord, sub lord, sub lord of that particular cusp. Now there's a new feature that we have added to Jyotishya Deepika Pro 2022 release 2, and that is the Panchadha Maitri matrix for planets, which is basically showing the friendship, enmity, and neutral relationships for planets. Now this is valuable for astrologers who really want to use this as part of prediction. The way it gets used is typically to understand how a planet will behave. For example, if a planet is in the house of its Adhimitra, then obviously the planet is going to give better results, or the results of the planet are unhindered. Whereas the same planet, if it is in the house of a Adhishatru, then the results of the planet can get obstructed. So living in a friend's house, living in an enemy's house, there is a difference, right? So that is the concept of it. And of course, this is widely used in Vedic astrology. There are a lot of KP astrologers who want to use this, and that is the reason I have responded to their requests and provided this as a feature. Now this is about the significators tab. And then I will not go into the great details of the next 3 or 4 tabs that are available. You have the effective significators, which you can actually view for each cusp, which effective significators we will come back to in a different video. In a similar way, we will also talk about fruitful significators. Here you can basically select houses for which, a particular planet, you want to find the fruitful significators of a particular set of houses. Then you use this thing called fruitful significators. We will come back to this feature in a different video. It is a complex thing. It requires a separate video. Then you have the 4-step theory, which is essentially Gondhalekarji's theory. And we are one of the only softwares, one of the very few softwares that have actually been blessed by the original author, Sri Gondhalekarji himself. And I thank him. I thank him for sharing his algorithm with us so that we have been able to provide it to KP users. And finally, you have the various aspects. You have both Western aspects in the first tab and then Vedic aspects in the second tab. So these are the details that you will see for a typical time chart. Now, I don't really want to go into the details of each of them in this particular video, but I want to show you certain other important aspects of the software. Now, normally in this time chart, you will see that there is a crown-shaped icon on the top here, and there is an eye-shaped icon, that is the information icon on also here. When you click the information icon, you will see that there is a chart information window that just pops down. And here you can see the chart details, the details of the chart date and time, judgment date and time, the place for which the chart is provided, the judgment place, whether there was any time corrections required, and astronomical details, which include Julian day, sidereal time, Ainamsha and Ainamsha value, and also the Panchang details for that particular date and time. What is the Tithi, Vasara, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karna, and along with sunrise and sunset times. So this is chart information. And the crown basically indicates ruling planets, that is the chart time ruling planets. Now, always remember, in a birth chart, you have birth time ruling planets and chart time, that is the judgment time ruling planets, whereas in a time chart, there is only one, because the time chart, for a time chart, the judgment time and the time of creation of the chart are the same. So you see only the ruling planets for the time of the chart. We will come back to the ruling planets and the descriptions of all of them later in a different video. Now, Jyotishya Deepika allows you to work on multiple charts. you can have them open. So those charts you can get added to this active charts list. So now if I create another time chart just to make it simple, and now if you expand this list, you'll see that there are 2 charts. So you can actually switch between the 2 charts or many other charts. You can have as many number of charts as you want to open, and you can always switch between the charts. So what happens is when you select the particular chart, the entire chart is displayed here. Now this is about the menu systems and the information that is there in the chart. Now let's go to the main menu system on the top. Now there is the first menu, which is called the show dashboard. The second menu is the charts menu. The move lagna, transit chart, and save chart are all disabled. Now when a feature is not available for a particular chart type, then that button for that feature appears to be disabled. That is grayed out like what we are seeing. Now this is a time chart. So Jyotishya Deepika Pro 2022 allows you to basically create 3 types of charts. A time chart, which is created for some moment of time. A birth chart, which is created for a person, for a person's birth, time of birth. And a Prashna chart, which is also called as the KP horary chart. Now, for a time chart, there is no move lagna facilities that is provided. Also, the transit chart doesn't make any sense to within a time chart. So whatever doesn't make sense and doesn't belong to this chart, those features are disabled right on top. Otherwise, this menu is common, right? You can also, because you can open multiple charts, you can also close a particular chart that is open by clicking on the close button. Now, more importantly, if you go to the charts menu, it's a drop down. You will see that you can create a new KP birth chart, a new KP Prashna or horary chart. Then you can also create a time chart. Then you can also edit a birth chart. Only birth chart can be edited. Time chart and Prashna charts cannot be edited. And you can also open a saved chart. So these are all the menus that are available in charts. And we will come to each of them in greater detail in a separate video when we look at working with birth charts, working with Prashna charts in KP Astrology. Then an important menu is show dashboard. And many of you are writing to me saying that there is a small confusion as to we don't understand what the show dashboard is all about. So when you click this button, which looks like the show dashboard, which looks like the dashboard dial here, you will come to this window. And this is the window where you have a great number of tools and utilities at your disposal. So you have various utilities which you can collapse the list. And then this is also the place where you can change the settings. You can change the astrologer details, the calculation options, and also the theme for the UI. And you can use any of the utilities. So we have the ephemeris utility, which is basically helps you to generate the ephemeris for a given date and time. You have the Panchangam utility, which basically helps you to understand the Panchangam details for any given date and time. Then there is a sensitive points calculator. If you really want to understand what sensitive point of the zodiac corresponds to what mathematical value or longitude, then you have the sensitive points browser. Then you have the Lagna, which is basically a Lagna browser, which will help you to understand the various lagnas that they rise in a particular day. We will come back to each of these tools in their own separate video, but I just want to introduce you to this fact that all of these are tools. So the Planet Retro is a tool which helps you to calculate or find out which planets are retrograde, at any given date and time. And then the planet transits utility, which will help you to find when a particular planet transits a particular degree of the zodiac. Then there is a time utility, which helps you to convert between different times. And then there is a Ghati utility, which helps you to convert between Ghati time and the normal times. Then you have Krishnamurti Paddhati marriage matching, and then you have the Kuja Dosha analysis, and also the real-time chart. We will take up each of these tools and utilities in their own separate video, but I just want to highlight one more, which is a basically automated prediction system that we have introduced in Jyotishya Deepika Pro 2022 Release 2, and this is known as the theory of short prediction or the Gulbarga theory. Here, based on a single horary number and a question, you can give a prediction either as positive or as negative, and we will have a separate video on this, but this is a beautiful feature which we have introduced in this particular version of the software. So these are all the various features that are there in the software. And then you have the settings wherein you can set the astrologer details, you can enter your personal details, you can choose a photograph that will appear on the reports, your logo which will also appear on the reports. Then you have calculation options which you can set for the various parameters, and then you can also change the GUI theme. So currently it is a blue light theme. If you want to change it to a dark theme, all you need to do is select and apply. Say for example, I want a green light theme, I can change it here. So you can tweak Jyotishya Deepika to your preference, to your liking. Basically this orange dark theme is something that I really like. So you can actually basically theme the entire software to your liking. So this is an introduction to the various features that are available in the software. There's not, we have not actually gone through any features in detail, but there will be a number of videos wherein we will look at each of these features and then have a separate video for them. I hope this general introduction video was helpful, and thank you for watching, and make sure to come back and watch the other instructional videos that I have prepared for you for this software. Thank you very much.